You
Man,
say East Atlanta.
man, it's the East Atlanta Love Love, and we back at it at Soul Purpose Farm. Tapped in this week, man. What's going on with y'all, man? I'm Aaron.
It's big.
Quinn.
Man, we just having a good time today, man. It's a wonderful day. Had a wonderful week. How y'all feeling?
I feel good.
Man, you know you feel good, Vic.
I am drinking tonic water and lime.
Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
Quincy, I got some Casamigos in my cup. That's a Terramana.
I'm on my lemon water. Ain't no comments.
Okay. Man, so
I'm good, man. What's going on with you, Aaron?
Right.
I'm cooling out. Huh?
We know you've been cooling.
I'm cooling out, man. Taking care of business like a big man should.
Yeah.
Living La Vida Loca.
No, I ain't been living La Vida Loca.
Oh, now you ain't been living La Vida Loca. Quinn.
I ain't living.
Yeah. That's what he say.
Hey, you know.
It's okay. You can handle be a businessman and live La Vida Loca. That's what life is all about.
What's going on in the 49? Fule 49?
Yeah. Okay. So shout out to Rob 49. So I was out there in the 49. Y'all don't know about the NO, home of the Creole folks. But I was out there for a conference in relation to what I do for my assistantship within extension for the university. So it was an evaluation conference that focused in on different evaluation practices. I went to the pre-conference and the official annual conference. So the pre-conference was a 2-day experience, full day experience from like 9 to 4, talking about different topics. So the session that I chose was the culturally responsive evaluation session, seeing how to make evaluations more culturally responsive and culturally acceptive. But they coined a new term. It's called CRE, culturally responsive equitable evaluation. So it's a conglomerate of different things, and evaluation is things such as surveys, survey designs, data collection, data analysis. So I do a lot with that within the university here for my assistantship. So it was good. That was my first experience in being around a real, true professional conference at that level where it was people outside of the ag field. I think I met like 2-3 guys that was in ag, one guy who was in the program that we applied for, Vic, international student at Iowa State. And we had a brief conversation, but it was impactful just to see how he uses evaluation, because he looks at like beginner farming programs, and I'm like, dang, that's crazy. I know somebody was looking at that, but he's taking what he's learning here in the United States, and when he graduates in May, he's gonna apply it to his country over in Africa. So it was a great experience. Probably one of the highlights, just as far as developing relationships within different arenas. So it was great, man. I mean, a lot of good people linked up with some evaluation specialists within the 1890 land grant system. They shared a lot of different things, and realizing like what we got going on here at a big, large 1862 land grant university, we really blessed compared to looking at how evaluation works, and the tools that you have to be resourceful on the 1890 side is totally different. Like they do the same things, but they have a lot less resources, because like one of the evaluation specialists I was talking to, she was saying like they have certain programs, but the agents that they work with and the clients that they work with still use a lot of paper surveys. So when like a lot of A&R specialists and extension agents go out into the field, they still doing a lot of surveys on paper. So it's like a lot of catching up to do, and it makes the evaluation, you want to really make your life simpler, because it's like when you seeing people like, especially within like agriculture, like here, we only have one evaluation specialist. The people that I talked to was at the 1890 University, it was just them as well. But a lot of the people don't even know what evaluation really is and how it can be impactful. Because I was talking to them as far as like even when doing like evaluation reports, she was like, well, I do them and I present them, because it's a part of my job. But she doesn't see how it builds and people using like how we can make different programs better. But here it's such a big thing. Like we need to report so we can know how to build and apply for certain grants and what are the limitations within these certain programs, how can we build them out, what do we need to add. So just looking at that, like, dang, that was probably my biggest takeaway. Like conference was good, but just having that research cap on, having that evaluation cap on, looking at, okay, dang, the experiences of extension evaluation specialists at 1890s and extension specialist procedures and responsibilities at 1862 really blew my mind. Like, dang, stuff that y'all complaining about, hey, it's always somebody who has a larger plate and a little less resources to deal with. So that was part of the biggest thing. I really think like, dang, that'd be a great research topic to look at, just the position of evaluation specialists within extension or just within the College of Ag and doing a comparison study within that capacity. So that was my highlight on the formal side. But on the informal side, man, I did a lot of first things. Like I went to my first Monday Night Football game this past week. Saw that boy Lamar Jackson in action. That boy's the real deal. Don't ever get that misconstrued. He is the real deal. That boy's the real McCoy. Also, on top of that, just really humble. You know what I'm saying? Seeing one of the first people that supported us out the gate with no question asked. But Herb Jones, seeing him play, following him since the college career, and I know Vic, you didn't follow him since AAU basketball. But just seeing like somebody who just supported us from out the rip and just walking up to the arena and seeing people with his jersey on, like, man, things can't happen. And I'm like, that was probably the most powerful thing. I'm like, dang, man, like this man really didn't put in the time and effort. I said, we doing the same thing, and I would want to encourage anybody else who having the same kind of visions as far as like whatever they may be to keep on pressing forward, because it can happen. It can happen, and it not even can happen, it will happen. Because conversation me and a piece of the conversation me and Vic had earlier today was like just being fully accepting as far as what God got for you. Because he'll give you a preview, but you never know how you're gonna get here. And I'm pretty sure, just relating it back to seeing those people with the jerseys on, like I'm pretty sure he didn't know how he was gonna get there, but he got there. And I still think it's things he wants to accomplish within that career. Same thing as far as like what we got going. It's things that we want to accomplish within our career on the within the land grant system and with Sole Purpose Farm. So I encourage y'all to keep on pressing forward, because I really, like this past week I did a lot of reflecting. Did a lot of new things for the first time, met a lot of great people, but I did a lot of reflecting because I had a lot of self-time to myself because I was in an environment where I knew nobody. So just being able to say, okay, I got a long way to go, but I accept the challenge though.
Yeah, man, I'm glad you got to experience that. Shout out to Herb, man. Man, you inspire us. You inspire us, man. Shout out, man. Yeah. I'm glad you got to experience that and get the get some takeaways from it. And just, really, really meet people, you know what I'm saying, where you at outside of just, ag. Vic talked about it a couple of episodes ago. Like, I always bring it back to ag. Sometimes we do work that's not, directly immersed in ag, but you can still get a lot of things from it. You can still take a lot of stuff away from it and move accordingly and still correlate it to ag when it's necessary. So, man, that's big, man. I'm glad you got to experience that, boy. Yeah. For real. Yeah.
So what about you, Vic, man? I know you had a full week. Then we're gonna get to you quiz, because I know you had your week. Yeah, it ain't all y'all got what y'all can get out of me. I want to hear what y'all had going on.
I ain't, man. Look, I ain't did nothing. I ain't did nothing this week.
Sound good, Bo?
No, it was a good week. It was a good week. I think the highlight of my week is I got my first manuscript or professional body of work submitted to a journal this week. So I was it may or may not get submitted, but accepted, but it was submitted. So that's all that matters. So
it will get accepted. They're gonna send back, hey, we would like you address this, or it might just get accepted off. Really, like, it was great. We're going ahead No revisions.
Yeah, and I'm fine, even if I'm fine with the feedback. I know we're gonna get feedback on it regardless, but it just feels good to get it off my plate so I can focus on you know what I'm saying, my own dissertation stuff and class, finally wrapping up classes. I only have 2 classes next semester. May or may not teach. I'm trying to decide that. And another potential money making opportunity. Hopefully we will see. So I'm excited about that moving forward. But really, shoot, I'm just trying to wrap up this semester.
Okay. Feel that.
I feel you.
I'm just trying to wrap up.
I think we all there now.
Yeah.
I think we all
fiending for Thanksgiving break. Fiending for Thanksgiving break in my Jodeci voice.
And if you just real quick.
What's that?
I was gonna say, shoot, it be them classes that be so tedious that don't got nothing to do with nothing, be the most headache at the end to me.
Well, I'll say my classes this semester, this is the first time like all my classes are in sync. So everything that I'm doing in each one of my classes, they heavy, but everything in my class that I'm doing can be put forth into my dissertation, which, you know what I'm saying, I appreciate. So that's a highlight. I think that kind of helped me get through this semester because it was content heavy, like you said, Aaron. But I think for me, with all the classes that I have, they really are in sync and help me just kind of keep on building out my work. Even if all the assignments don't fit within, they all can sort of, I don't know, kind of correlate to what I'm trying to do. So, because I try to build everything I do around my dissertation, everything. Like I was telling, me and Kristen was having a conversation. Shout out to Kristen. We starting to tap in weekly with each other, you know what I'm saying, just on school and stuff like that. And that's the most important nugget I feel like I done took away, is if you can make your work correlate with what your overall dissertation topic is, do that. You know what I'm saying? The best way you can to mitigate just doing unnecessary work. So that's where I am now.
I ain't gonna lie, as far as I got my schedule set for I got advised this past week too. I had already had 3 classes in mind, but I had to add another one that feel like it's gonna impact and build my dissertation out. So I'll be taking 4 classes. So one thing my advisor told me this past week, he was like, and I want to push you to a whole nother level. And I'm like, man, dude, I've been going to school nonstop since the summer of 21. I'm like, boy, I really only technically have 1 class to take, but I'm gonna be taking 4 classes. I'm gonna be taking classes all the way to the fall. So I'm like, I appreciate somebody pushing and seeing the value in me to push me to that next level. I'm like, man, because I'm really tired of taking these classes. I realize, seriously, I mean, once you're seeing people like in a dissertation phase and who have everything complete as far as coursework, and they can solely just write, and once they get in that groove, it's all I almost relate to like when a artist is getting in that vibe and in that studio and they just locked in and they catching vibes at different periods of times. I think I relate that to just the writing stage period, because like, damn, finding a vibe, I might be posted up outside at a lake getting some writing in. I might be posted at a hotel at a conference, just locked in, just like at a random time, 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm locked in. You had the autonomy to do that once you get in that phase. So it's like, bro, I know you can't put the clothes on before you walk out the door, but still, like, I can't wait till I get to that phase. But I'm excited to see what these classes will be talking about in the fall, because I'm gonna be taking one of the only culturally responsive evaluation classes. They're the only culturally responsive evaluation class by somebody who does work and is prominent in the field. I didn't get to go to her presentation this past week, but I'm excited to take that. So we're gonna see what they're talking about. But I might be able to cut you off, quiz, and go on a little rant.
Oh no, man! Look, hey, Bo. my jump don't be lining up. No, I'm at that phase now where I'm in my core classes, but is that one, I got that one class how you was just talking about, Aaron, where I'm getting more work in that class than, my core classes, and it don't have nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm pressing forward. Shout out to
He's a presser.
I'm a presser. I'm pressing forward. So man, look, man. I'm just trying to get to the end, man. Just trying to get to the end. I'm trying to get to that point y'all talk about, man, like working on dissertations and all of that, man. Look, I ain't there yet, man. I ain't there, but I do, find ways to correlate everything I'm doing around, my body of work or what I plan to do, in the future. So I do try to do that at least bit, bring everything back to what I got going on and try to make sure I keep that in mind when I'm moving forward, whether it be at a professional event, academic event, or moving forward towards my pursuit to graduate school, I guess you would say.
Yeah. So,
yeah, man. But everything that's pretty much it with me, man. Just trying to wrap up the semester. One of the things that I did have happen this weekend, shout out to Doc. I talked to Doc yesterday, and Doc was like, "Hey, Bo, you know your name on the program at PAWC?" And I said, well, I submitted everything I needed to submit, Doc, but the powers that be. So we got to talking about that. He like, hey man, I see your name on the program. So for me, that was big just to see like, hey, I'm not out there at PAWC and I won't be able to present at PAWC, but just to see that, my name's in the room that it hasn't been in before. Not only my name, but Crim University is in the room that it ain't been in a long time or hasn't been seen in a long time. So I just been having the little bits and pieces. I've been having little moments where I'll be in certain spaces and it'd be like, oh, okay, my name Marquez Wortham, I'm from so and so and so and so. And it's like everybody get to talking about where they from, and it's already, which I'll say, autonomy. You know what I mean? Like everybody already been having that going on. So it's not nothing new to them. Like it's like, oh, okay, well, we've been here. We've been doing this. Whereas with me, it's like, hey, we got somebody new in the building, so we got somebody new in the building from a new space, from a new space in the building, and they starting to mention a lot of things. So that's been big for me. That's been one of my biggest takeaways this summer. Not this summer, this semester, just being able to be in places that I have not been before and hearing people say my name and my school, my university's name in places that I have not heard it before. So man, y'all blaze the trail for that. So I got to salute y'all, man.
Man, so how you feeling about? Well, my bad. The first thing I want to say, congratulations. And Vic, could you tell a little bit more about what PAWC is? Since you done had the most experience out of all of us as far as like PAWC.
It's it stands for the Professional Ag Workers Conference. So it's really a conference that farmers come, all types of people come, to really hone on the idea of just agriculture. It's really small, very small conference, but I think it's a great platform, especially since Tuskegee is the only university that does a conference, like that type of ag conference. They're the only ones that have hosted it that I know of. Southern has a similar conference that specifically focuses on farmers and just having industry folks come out, some of Extension and just some of their programs. But this is specifically related to research and just creating that platform for minorities in agriculture to come and talk about their experiences in ag. I haven't, and also too, I'll say this, I've experienced the conference two different ways. So being at South Carolina State, we really focus more on the presentation and research part, which is not a different entity, but it's just one part of the conference. Whereas you have the actual opening ceremony, and then you may have some small vendors out there, and that happens at a different location. And they have USDA agencies out there, workshops and things like that, but you don't really get that whole aspect when you're just part of the research side and, the presentations and all that stuff. Doc never had us really be part of that that side of the conference. And so I think it's valuable to have. I think it's still growing. I haven't been in years, but it's growing, and I think it's a great platform. And it's at a HBCU, which, like I said, they're the only ones that have a conference that facilitates that type of work. So
yeah, I think this year it's in Montgomery though. They're not doing it in Tuskegee. To try to,
I mean, which is even better, because it may be that both pieces of the conference now can come together.
Yeah, I think that's what their main goal was, and because this is the real first one back since COVID.
Oh yeah,
you want to come back and see what it's talking about,
because it's not a huge. I mean, it's the Professional Ag Workers Conference, so there's a big emphasis on partners and, you know, just small farmers and things like that. But I think integrating that research side where students can be part of that, you don't see a lot of students at the actual Ag Workers Conference piece. Yeah. And so being able to mix and mingle with those professionals, a lot of the advisors, deans, and things like that attend the actual conference piece, as well as the research side where people are presenting and stuff, but you don't see a lot of student presence at the conference piece. So hopefully that can increase the participation of the students.
Yeah, and one thing I can say, just think about a conversation that both of us have had, was as far as like how you saying now, like with the influx of different conferences and programs and things like that. A conference like that is way cheaper than going to some of these big, I guess, name conferences. And you may be able to develop a lot better relationships, intimate relationships that become way more valuable for you within the ag space. So I would encourage people to go to conferences like that. And it's a lot of free different like workshops and conferences that you can go to. But this one, I'm pretty sure that what the registration fee is less than $1,000, ain't it?
Less than 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So you can't beat that, and you're gonna get treated with that VIP experience because they just be so grateful that you're there. You get what I'm saying? So it's something that I would suggest, and it's open to the public. It's not like a lot of these events like that. They're not just solely for university faculty and staff. They open to the public because the land grant mission is to serve the community and within the state and abroad. So yeah, it's definitely something I'll tell somebody to check out. But Quiz, you the man though, for like could you tell a little bit more about your first meeting within the Manus Ambassadors and what that is? You know what I'm saying? We want to hear more about that because man, you really are a trailblazer.
Well, it's official. I am a Manus Ambassador now, Manus National Ambassador. So that was something on my list that I could check off, and I was real proud of myself and the support that I got from not only you all but people around that kind of saw my vision as far as trying to become a Manus Ambassador. So we had our first meeting and it went well. Got to mingle with the other 7 ambassadors out the nation and get to talk to them and kind of understand what their background was in, which was cool because I going into it, I wasn't thinking of this, but you know, it kind of makes sense because Manus was started for minorities at 1862 universities, but most of the students that were in the meeting were not from HBCUs. They were from different backgrounds. So it was cool to kind of talk to them and see what's going on at that university and kind of get, some insight on what's going on at their universities and what Manus looks like for them. And I know y'all at 1862s, but y'all came from, where I come from as far as, the HBCU background. So you already kind of know, you already know what's going on within our space and Manus, whereas it's a lot different for them. You know what I mean? It's a lot different for them. And some of those students have not attended, HBCU. So it was real different. And it was real cool just talking to them and getting to know them. Another big thing for me was being, it's one thing to be in a space like that and, you seeing people that look like you, but it's also another thing when you in a space like that and you're the only male, you know what I mean? So that's, one of those things for me that was kind of like, okay, I'm in the right spot. You know what I mean? Because you're not seeing people that look like me. And me and Aaron was talking about this a little while ago, and we was also talking about this to you, Vic. You know, just bringing, you know, younger males specifically into this is kind of hard getting them into a certain space when they don't see somebody that look like you. So for me to be in this space and to be where I'm from and to be, you know, in the spaces that I am, is big for me and my university and our community, I feel, you know. So the meeting went real well. You know, they challenged us to do a couple of things and put us in the little groups and stuff and said they sending us the care package. So I'll be waiting on my little care package. Shout out to Manners. I appreciate the opportunity and I look forward to having a good, successful year with y'all, you know. So yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I mean, shoot, look, like I said, y'all the trailblazers, man. I wouldn't know what No Manners was if it weren't for y'all.
Oh man,
We are men.
Real, man. For real, we are, man.
Y'all doing what y'all supposed to be doing, man.
Yeah, no, everybody's doing what they supposed to be doing. Everybody is where they need to be.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
but
that's for sure.
and I think too, just we grateful for where we at. I know I'm definitely am grateful for where I'm at, knowing things I didn't overcome as far as personal and professional experiences and obstacles, and just being able to say, hey, how can I help somebody else out to become successful in whatever they may be. Hopefully, I would love to see more people within the ag field. And just this past week, like how you talking about you were the only male or just person that looked like you, I was saying like, man, there's not a lot of men within this space of evaluation. So like, this may be a niche that I need to hone in on a lot more to learn how to develop this skill set, because it can be applied in so many different industries. Like people were there talking about how they would love the contracts they didn't get within evaluation. So evaluation is everywhere. Think about like when you get a survey, when you go purchase something at Best Buy, they send out surveys. Somebody had to create that survey. Somebody got to do the analysis on that survey. When you everybody's about collecting data. Right now, when we put our content up on YouTube, you getting surveys back, and you seeing surveys when you're looking at ads. Everybody's collecting data. Somebody has to create that data. Somebody has to come up with these skills. Somebody has to say, hey, what does this mean? How can we make this platform better? What are the comments? What is the feedback that we getting? And how can we interpret what the people are saying and what the people really want? So that's the way.
It's all analytics.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, though. And somebody had to create that type of stuff. So just stepping into that space and realizing the world is always evolving, but at the same time, another takeaway I was looking at like, dang, it's hardly no black people here. It's hardly no black people here, and they were saying like this is probably the biggest people of color population they had at a conference. So they're saying like, okay, it has been growth, but it's still a lot more to go, because it's still a lot of barriers in place within the evaluations field, as far as when Vic was talking about even like looking at certain sayings we didn't heard back in the day for like black men and statistics, black women, you know what I'm saying, as a statistic. And like people had to sit down and create these surveys and putting these, interpret them in their own way. And a great takeaway I let Vic touch on was as far as like all this statistical analysis is really all perception. Like when people say numbers don't lie, yeah, I agree with that to an extent. But as far as like how you interpret these numbers really means something. Like how do you really look at it? Like do you look at it as the glass half full, or do you look at it glass half empty? So it's like whichever one you really want to look at. So as far as like, I'm like, man, this is powerful on a whole nother level, because we can use this to impact so many different people, because the feedback that we get from you all as the people, it only helps us to better serve you. So I appreciate that. What you was gonna say, Vic, as far as like when you heard that?
No, I was gonna say, and you see it in media and stuff today and stuff like that today on how they use that. I wouldn't say against us, but in some ways, you know what I'm saying, like how information, I always think of it like communicating science, which is something that I dibble and dab with in the work that I do, but just in general, it doesn't have to be like actual science, but communicating across different disciplines. So some we talk about in policy is for different, like I said, disciplines to be able to translate information so that others understand. So like policymakers making information more acceptable to the Commonwealth, or for scientists to be able to translate information or translate science into like governmental policy, that type of language, so that they understand. So not creating these areas to be interconnected or interdisciplinary, but to be able to communicate across different agencies or different groups of people. And so I say that to say people do that. We do that in media. So you see a lot of depiction of what people think Black people are in the media based on what they throw out there. People aren't reading up about statistics and things like that. People don't even know Black people are not at the top of being impoverished.
No.
It's the mother folks, and that's okay. But you know what I'm saying, to the media and to what is projected out there, you would think we were, and it's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? That just lets us know that work needs to be done. But going back to what Aaron was saying, interpretation, I had this professor, he's different, but he's one of the people that I think that gave me some good game from being here between him and my advisor. And he was just saying, like, you know what I'm saying, research is really interpretation and perception. So like if you read in an article, right, you go to a resource and you go to where they pulled the resource, you'll never find where they pulled that line from. Simply because based on their interpretation of what they found in that article, it'll never translate over to you in that way. Which is why you can never find, if I go to Johnny and, you know what I'm saying, go to the source that Johnny said, I'm never going to be able to pull what he pulled.
And that's what makes it almost scary, though. Because think about it, we got hundreds of years of data, and it's that been interpreted through only really truly one lens. That would make it almost scary.
I wouldn't even say many different lenses.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, far as race-wise, for the most part.
Well, yeah, because it's the power that be. It's in the gatekeepers.
That's what I'm saying. That almost scary, because even that's something that me and Vic had learned together, and we didn't even know we were learning together, like how to really write out, you know what I'm saying, results and just write, period. We had to really regroup and refocus and regain what research really looks like. You know what I'm saying? Like how we thought was like, okay, you take someone here, you know what I'm saying, as long as you cited, that was cool. No,
yeah, I'm taking it verbatim. I like chicken. You ain't supposed to do that.
Yeah, we trying to play the correct game of alphabet. You know what I'm saying? Hey, there's a dog at the window. We want to hear the dog has a window. These folks don't want to hear that.
The dog stood by the window. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to rephrase the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? But, and then you may have pulled that from somewhere you thought they said the dog was by the window and that it used so-and-so and so-and-so and it was eating so-and-so and so. But that was based on your own interpretation, which is why you used it.
Yeah, it ain't no
Or they may have summarized the whole paragraph into one sentence. People don't even know you could do that. You could summarize a whole paragraph, put it in one sentence, and that's your interpretation of as it relates that person's work as it relates to your work. So you added it to your work.
And that shit damn near scary if you think about it from a, you know what I'm saying, if you remove yourself as far as like how people have interpreted who we are as a people.
Who we are, right.
And how things are viewed. It's almost in the same, and we just talking about this just maybe from one piece of it's like, but the overall thing, when you're talking about like bigger mass communication and communicating through the sciences, it's scary though, man. It's scary to think about that stuff, man. But that would be just topic we just talk about next time or whenever. That could be a whole conversation in itself. But any last things you want to say, Quiz and Vic, as far as you want to drop on the people before we get up out of here?
I was man, just speaking on that.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Vic. Go ahead, Vic.
No, I was just gonna say, what was I about to say? I was about to bring up this idea of discomplacement.
Okay.
that we taught, that I learned today in, not discontentment that I learned today in service. And I only bring it up because we get into the end of the year. You know how people be ready to change, do all the things, and maybe thinking about, where they are today. Because we were, we was talking earlier, and just really understanding where you are in your journey right now, today. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the path if it ain't smooth, that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just say this one. Your next is not in your now. So understanding like where you are in your life right now is not what it's gonna look like later on. You know what I'm saying? If it's a little rough, appreciate that roughness. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where the true growth come from. And it's okay to be in discontentment. It's okay. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't ever want to be content. That's the worst place to be. When you feel like I'm content where I'm at, my shit looking a little rocky, I need to go have a come to Jesus meeting with somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because your journey don't stop here. So if it's uncomfortable, understand that's the best place to be in. And I work within that too. I always, when shit get a little, excuse my language, but things get a little rough, I always remember like, okay, this is where the moving, the shaking, the growing gonna happen. So
go ahead, Quid.
I'm just gonna talk about that data, man. Y'all was talking about, man. That made me think about the people. Talking to the people, man. Look, man, y'all tap in with us, man. Comment on what we got going on. Let us know what y'all trying to see, what y'all would like to hear. You know what I'm saying? Vic mentioned that a couple of episodes before, but I know it's a lot of people out there that's playing, a dirty card game straight. You know what I'm saying? So, man, just let us know what's going on with y'all, man. Tap in, let us know what y'all want to see. Some comments that y'all would like to talk about a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? If you watch, regularly, you know what we're talking about. So even stuff that we've already talked about, if you want to know more or you want more insight on certain topics or particular topics, man, tap in with us. Let us know what's up.
Yeah, for sure, man. And we want you all to realize every soul has a purpose. We're going to sign out on that note. Peace.
I think you need to call Tyra.
bye.